going on, everybody? Welcome to Shred Sessions. On this particular episode, we've got Sean Doherty and Will Sheppard from Iconoclast Fanzine, a little punk rock magazine out of Nashville. So, boys, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is super fun.
Yeah.
Before we started, you guys were talking about gear already. We're talking about like Lone Wolf audio pedals. We're talking about how many new bands are popping up in the scene, which is crazy. And in fact, Sean's been keeping up with that with the Zine, listing all the new bands and things like that. Sean runs the Nashville Hardcore Instagram page. That's kind of a recent thing, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
It's almost, it's been like a year since I kind of started posting on that. So
Nice.
The scene's grown a lot since then.
It's growing, man. It's like jazz in the 20s. I know I keep saying that, but guys, what made you want to start a punk rock magazine, like a physical magazine? And we'll talk more about this as the show goes on, but what made you want to do this?
Yeah, so I, for a time, was working at a tree nursery in Franklin, but after some time, I got a visa to work in the Republic of Ireland, and so I moved to Dublin, Ireland, and I was working in a chocolate factory in Dublin.
Dude, this sounds insane.
Yeah.
The story's sick. Keep going.
For about 3 or 4 months, and during that time, I was obviously physically separated from the Nashville hardcore scene, and I wanted to, maintain a presence and, kind of contribute, even though I couldn't go to shows or support or anything like that. So I figured I would start, a zine. It was at first only online for the first 2 issues, but, I came back to Nashville after a few months of living in Dublin, and since then we've been putting out physical zines, and I invited Will to, be a part of the zine. We, do shows now. Like, shows weren't, initially part of the equation, but we've been doing that kind of successfully lately, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
it is awesome. So you lived in Dublin, Ireland?
Yes.
Why did you move there?
So I have some extended family out in like the west of Ireland in County Mayo. So, I had some connections there, and the visa program is obviously, kind of selective, but, through my connections, I was able to get through, and as it was a 1-year work visa, and there was no restrictions on it as to where I could work or anything. So I just sort of showed up, and I got a job at the chocolate factory. And this was like around the Christmas time, time of 2024. So when the factory was closed for about like a week or so, I was over in the west of Ireland in County Mayo, like on the family farm, like feeding the cows and stuff. It was pretty cool.
That's amazing. That's crazy, bro. So are you from Nashville originally?
Well, here's the thing is I spent the first 11 years of my life in Los Angeles, but I say that I'm from Seattle because like a lot of my formative years, like middle school and high school, were spent in Seattle. I did go to university at Western Washington University in Bellingham, Washington for about like a year and a half before it wasn't really working out super well. So I had a friend who had moved here for school, and I was like, okay, well, you might as well move here because it seems like it's going to be cool.
Yeah. And what year was that you moved to Nashville?
I moved to Nashville 1 or 2 months before COVID lockdown about 5 years ago.
Oh man, that's like the worst time to come here. What about you, Will? I know you mentioned that you're from Memphis.
Yeah.
So right down the road. When did you move to Nashville?
I guess it would technically be 2021, but at the tail end of 2020, I moved here. We met in college. But yeah, I went to Belmont for audio engineering, and you went music business, yeah?
I was audio engineering for about like 1 month.
I didn't know that.
And then I was like, okay, I'm changing my major. Because I'm not built to be a gearhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did end up getting a music business degree at Belmont.
Yeah.
Very cool. What about you? Did you finish your like 4 years at Belmont?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Got my degree
in audio engineering.
Yeah, about a year ago. Yeah.
And do you mix like stuff regularly for bands or for your own stuff?
I was down the studio route for a long time. But it took me working in Nashville to change my mind. It's just a weird culture here, dude. Which is like kind of where this came originally to an extent, is like we just started to, I personally started to encounter like the weird underbelly of like corporate Nashville in a way when I started getting in there. Like I started working in Berry Hill for some country studios. Like I ran a session for Dolly Parton one time. I pocketed drums for Blake Shelton. Like I edited a session for him. And like seeing what people do in the booth, like talking about artists in there, like saying like racist and like homophobic shit to people while they're recording them in the booth. It's insane what they can get away with. But like I saw that and like the way I was being treated and the way other engineers were being treated, and was like, this is just not worth it. So I just escaped that, switched over to live audio eventually, because I kind of just fell into that after graduating. And I started working at Dark Matter out in East as well, which is like kind of the DIY spot. And after doing live stuff, I've just kind of like realized that this is a much more personal thing I can do. Because I think in all of my fronts, I think any capacity of like creative or work outputs that I do, I all want to like be person to person, you know, and like have that community aspect to it. And especially in live sound, you get that intimate experience of like working with the artist and being like, what do you personally need? Not like going through layers and layers and layers of corporate ladders and that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, like that's kind of why I started this show, because I can meet people like you guys from the scene. You just come over to my house, we eat some food, we hang, we kind of get to know each other. Yeah. And at least we're kind of like, we know that we're in the same orbit in some way. But if you're like a studio guy, you're like emailing people and sending tracks and maybe having a band come over to stay at your house and record for a week or something if you're lucky.
For like days, yeah.
But most of the time it's just like guys sending, you know, their dry guitar signal to a guy to like reamp it, you know, if we're talking metal. One of my buddies, Tate Mercer, he's recorded a lot of bands. I want to say he's done like chamber, and he's got a long list. Just look up Tate Mercer. He's really cool to record with. Because he has an environment where he can facilitate the band. Like the whole band can hang out and they vibe, and to me that translates to a better recording. But a lot of things are just done, you know, remotely, which is fine. You can get a lot of work done that way. But I really like that you value that aspect of like the music scene, and I think that's what's going to build longevity. You know what I mean?
And that's why I went to studio work originally, is because like from a forefront understanding is like the whole relationship is like you, the engineer, has an intimate relationship with the band that's playing, and like you see their vision and like how you can orchestrate that for them. But when I kind of again sunk into like how Nashville really works, it's like, oh, this is like, I mean, we would have like 16 sessions in a day that were like an hour long, and it's just like in and out, you know? So there's not even any time to be like, oh, well, what's the context of this song? Like, why'd you choose this thing? Like, how can I accentuate that for you? But it's more just like, let's like get this track going.
It's just a machine. Like each engineer, each person has like a set process, and then they come in and the artist is just gonna sing into the mic, or you know, the mics for the acoustic guitar set up. I mean, I think I love how efficient some of those sessions are, and I value like the skill set that those guys have built, and especially the studio musicians. I mean, those guys are doing god tier stuff,
dude. It's insane.
And like after looking at a piece of paper with a bunch of symbols on it, right, and then cranking out like real awesome music, like it's an amazing art form. I think you probably just decided that like I don't really want to be involved in that, you know. And
I mean, like it's, you actively see it like rotting Nashville at its core, you know what I mean? Like they all build and like own all the bars downtown, and like are affiliated with like these megacorps that like run and like tier away people from getting to be where they want to be. Like I know tons of songwriters that move here that are like, I came here to publish my art and everything, but because I don't know anybody here or like have some like deep South connect to like all these managements, I'm like dead in the water. And all of these studios like thrive off of that like established like borderline Illuminati level of like streamlining their artists. So I was like, well, this is like adverse to like music as a whole. And as I invested myself in Nashville personally and not just in work, I found people like Sean and like all my friends in Dark Matter and all my friends in DIY that kind of live in abject to that. And through working at Dark Matter, I found a way to like do my passion and my job while still like uplifting those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I can like, have my cake and eat it too, in a way.
It's totally about building like a genuine community where, we all like elevate each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're doing that with the zine. But yeah, what you were saying, Will, like, I mean, ultimately that's why I left education. I was like, from the ground level, I just don't believe in this model of teaching young people. I happened to work at a really great school teaching music. Everyone loved me there. I loved them. Maybe I should have stayed just because of those relationships, because it was awesome. We also moved to Clarksville, which is like on the other side of the state. So, but ultimately I was just like, they are just pushing people through this school, and then they're going to go to college. They're going to get pushed through college, whether they're ready or not.
Yeah.
And these kids are going to come out on the other side graduating, and there's no fucking jobs.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that really just upsets me is like, you get sold this lie that like, oh, you go to college, you're gonna come out great, but really it's like this $250,000 babysitting camp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, and it's a place for I just, some of these people, like, now that I'm like a little bit older, like, you've got like a little 17-year-old girl, dad's dropping them off in the fucking lion's den, to go party and get drunk, and I don't know what's gonna happen to these kids, or I guess it's on them. They're young adults. You can do what you want, but to me, like, that is just such a bass-ackwards model, like to like bring people into adulthood, go to college and get fucking drunk.
Yeah, right.
I just disagree with that. I'm not saying everyone that goes to school does that, but I think being in the hardcore scene, even though there's moshing, like, it's safer than going to college.
Oh my god.
Like,
100%.
drunk driving or anything else that could happen to you.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, half the time, like, $300,000 later or whatever, you like don't even learn anything, at least like, culturally or like about arts and that kind of thing. So some people will go to a trade school, spend like that much money, and then still not come out with a job or even an education. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, well, now that we have AI, all the coding jobs are like,
dude,
like, becoming irrelevant. Like, Meta is laying off, like, they laid off like 11,000 people a couple of years ago, and like more companies are going to automate all of that stuff. So now it's like, it's not even worth getting a computer science degree.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it is if you want a job in AI.
And I mean, when we were going to school, getting a computer science degree was like the quick money scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all the kids I knew were like, dude, I'm gonna get this comp sci degree and move to Silicon Valley and then work for like 2 years and then be a bajillionaire.
Yeah, I think my theory right now is like, because of AI and everything else that's going on, like, all jobs in the future are going to be like min-wage jobs.
Yeah.
All jobs minimum wage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you mentioned the trades. I think like dudes like us should get like HVAC certified.
Yeah.
And like learn how to like weld, learn how to like fix shit, like become a plumber, like electrician. I think, like, because you need a real human being that can be on the site, working with their hands, problem solving, right? To me, I think that's where the money is at. And in fact, the parents that were sending their kids to the private school I worked at that were like super loaded had construction companies. Most of them.
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Like, in terms of like Tennessee people, there's obviously like people from China and all over the world that sent their kid there, but it was a lot of parents that got rich in the construction building Tennessee, right?
Yeah. Really.
So it's kind of interesting, a little dichotomy. But I really want to know, like, how did you guys get this zine to look this nice? I was expecting like computer paper, like with staples, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's cool. I've seen, like, I worked at a guitar store a while ago, Eastside Music Supply. I was there for like 6 months, and like someone made this just the most absurd zine, and it was just all like, it was like really inappropriate stuff. I can't remember who was making it, but we would read that and be like, whoa, dude, this is off the wall. But take me through like the process of building this magazine.
Yes. So as of right now, I do all the graphic design related to the zine. So every page, unless like maybe a one-off page, someone just sent me like a photo to like put into the zine. But
is this like Adobe?
Yeah, I do everything on Adobe Photoshop. If I was smart, I would do it on
InDesign.
InDesign, but there's like a lot of effects that get put onto the photos and stuff that InDesign is not really built for. So I think still really the best option for me is Photoshop. You know, it's kind of basic. Like you just grid like the, you know, well, first you get all the content right, and then you decide what order it's going to be in, and then you know, grid it out. Put all the you know, the words and the photos in like a way that it's like really inspired by like 90s hardcore zines. A lot of when I was going into this and making the zine, I only knew about hardcore zines on Internet Archive, and I was kind of blissfully unaware of how zines are today in hardcore, where a lot of it is more like 80s like cut and paste style hardcore zines, and it's like willfully obtuse guys like jam packing their like purposefully dumb opinions into the zine. There's something I sort of thought of recently where if you're looking to make a hardcore zine, like if you build it, the Midwestern sickos will come.
Well, what does that mean?
Like a lot of these very ignorant on purpose hardcore zines are based out of like Ohio or Indiana.
Okay.
The scene up there is a lot more old school, not just with the sound of the music, but also like kind of the attitude that you approach hardcore, where you're kind of like a very like rough around the edges kind of guy.
Okay.
They will like actually beat your ass if you don't pay them a door.
You will get your ass beat in Ohio hardcore more than anywhere else, I think. At least that's what I've heard. I've never been to an Ohio hardcore show.
Yeah.
But you know, we had a personal experience with one of these Midwesterners recently, where we booked a show and in a basement, which is kind of a novelty for Nashville hardcore right now. But basement shows are kind of more regular out in the Midwest, so it was kind of fitting. We got this band from Fort Wayne, Indiana, called Colossal Man, which is fronted by a Midwestern hardcore legend, Gray Gordon. And he's pretty active in like doing single pagers for like some of these zines coming out of that area, like Ignorant People Fanzine. That's or
trying to be like G.G. Allen or something like that.
Mundane Moshers fanzine, stuff like that. And what I'm trying to get at is like when I started this zine, I didn't know about this community of like ongoing community of hardcore zines, and they've, you know, kind of reached out to me, followed me on Instagram, you know, through the channels. Like, you know, we're kind of a part of that like greater online like zine community, and I think that's really coalesced recently into I sent in a one pager for a zine compilation that's being run by a zine or organization called Shining Life Press. So right now it just came out. I think it's available for purchase right now. I'm not sure if it's sold out yet. It's pretty popular, where a bunch of these, you know, Midwestern zines or zines from all over the world, or our zine, you know, send in 1 or 2 pages for this specifically made compilation. And so, yeah, there's a whole world of hardcore zines that are connected with each other. And I guess looping back to what you were asking, like how I made it look so good with the paper quality and like the staples and stuff, is after the first issue was released solely online, there was no physical, a hardcore zine called Stronger Than Pride from Birmingham reached out to me and was like, hey, this is super awesome, like you should put this onto print, and here's the print shop that I use, and here's all the settings that I use to make my zine look like this. So his name's Donnie. He really just walked me through how to do a physical print of a zine. And being a part of the zine community is pretty cool. Although what we're doing is a little bit different from what they're doing, but I think it's okay because the Ohio scene is a lot different from the Nashville scene, so it makes sense that a Nashville zine would be different than a Midwestern zine.
It's going to be specific to Nashville. So how is, in regards to that, like how is the Nashville zine that you've created, Iconoclast, how is it different? Is it just the writing style? Is it the different sections? And also, like, what different sections can people expect to find in your zine?
Yeah, so with the latest zine, we did a lot of band interviews. We had, you have it in front of you right now, I think.
Here, you want to hold it up on your camera while you talk?
Yeah, for sure. This makes sense for this question. Yeah, so we had a lot of band interviews, like Moral Law. Like this was like a vegan themed zine. It says, go vegan Nashville. And on the back it says vegan revolution is coming. So it was vegan themed because
Are you guys both vegan?
I'm vegan.
Just Sean.
we both work at the same vegan company.
Vegan place though, yeah.
You guys, okay. In Nashville, you work at like a vegan place?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's called the Beehive.
Oh yeah. You work at, Ben Sticks?
Yeah.
I used to play in a band with him.
Oh, were you in his band?
Yeah, I was in Kinhin. I played bass.
Dude, no way.
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, dude, let's get back to talking about the different sections of the zine. I didn't mean to cut you off, Sean. I just
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So just going off of that, we have Moral Law, which is a vegan straight edge band from Denver.
Yeah.
And then Die Young, which is not a vegan band, but their front man, what was his name? Daniel something. Just their front man Daniel. He's been a vegan straight edger for like 20 years. He's like a professional, or not professional, but he's a I don't know what's the word.
Bodybuilder, powerlifter.
He's a power lifter, and he's a competitive power lifter. He's won medals.
Oh dang!
And
he's vegan.
He has a book, called like
he's called like
the
Vegan Meathead 101 or something.
Yeah, something like Vegan Meathead. How to it kind of details like a training and diet regimen for someone that would want to do powerlifting as a vegan. Mm-hmm. Super cool. Like we got that band to play here in Nashville, thanks to Cody from Jukebox Booking.
Yeah, big shout.
And then we have a local band called Aim Down Sight. There's some kids that just are always showing up to shows, and I wanted to shout them out, put them in the zine. We have Zasht, which connected with you more.
Yeah, Zasht are good friends of mine. They're a metalcore band out of Little Rock, specifically Searcy, Arkansas. Which would be like if a band was like from Clarksville or Franklin, but like repped it like super hard, which is really cool. They're like technically the biggest band out of Searcy, Arkansas ever because they've been on tour before. But like they have come such a long way from what they're doing and like have not stopped repping Little Rock and Searcy to that level, to a sense that's like almost absurd, that I think is like the coolest thing on the planet.
It is cool.
They just put out an insane record too. It's called Hue and Cry. I think it's their second full length.
Yeah, they have like 3 things out, and the first thing was like 1 song.
Yeah.
And then keep going down the list. We have Pest Fest, where you're doing sound for Pest Fest. Pest Fest is like a hardcore like death metal festival that's going down like in 2 weeks in Memphis. It's gonna be super cool. So we got Drew and Brody, the main 2 people behind it, do a little blurb. We wanted to shout out Pest Fest. And we had Spike. She's local. She does art. She's like always at shows and stuff, so I wanted to shout her out on her art. Did a ton of like questions about that. And then we had a house venue interview called the Dollhouse. It was the Dollhouse is a currently active house show venue in Murfreesboro. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing is super cool because they're really connected with both local and regional screamo bands. So you'll see like a lot of screamo like post-hardcore kind of music at their house. And so I went to one of those shows and sort of did like a show review / interview with them the same night. Because I know house show venues are also like in the article I say like house show venues are the most fleeting institutions of the local music ecosystem.
Yeah. Especially down here. And for a second there, it seemed like they were going to cease existing very shortly after the article was published. However, they managed to figure something out, and they're continuing to do shows for now. And then,
why do you think that is, man? That like house show venues are going away? I mean, when I moved to Nashville, house shows were going on every week, you know. And I know like the real estate market has changed a lot, but what do you attribute that to?
Well, I mean, certain things will happen at a house show which will cause the people at the house to not want to do shows anymore.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a lease will go up. So like a house show venue will be like consistently active for like a year, but then they have to move out. Like, you know, basic stuff like that, unless you have an idea.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is like a lot of people that have, you know, for lack of a better word, transplanted into Nashville. There's like, because of this like new kind of individualistic sense of Nashville that isn't like necessarily searching for a community. If you can just like move here and, you know, do your remote job from your house and just kind of live that way, there's not really an incentive to want to create like a third space for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now that less people need that and there's less of a desire to make that, it's kind of just like the market to a lot of people is seemingly non-existent, especially when like a lot of people that are in houses that can even have shows are the people that are able to afford it now, which is these people that like have remote jobs or like, you know, work from California or have come here, or like songwriters that work in a Nashville studio in Berry Hill that can have a house that can have a show. So like the people that have the resources, I think, are just woefully unaware of like what they could do with it, or just like the new kind of people that are in Nashville now just like don't really have a sense for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I just think back on some of the house shows that I went to and even booked, like typically it's you've got a group of people in the music scene living in a house together, and then so they try to do one show there, and then it kind of builds from there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is actually fun. Like that's kind of how 70s house was formed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually played at the first 70s house show. I didn't know that I did, but that was brought to my attention on this show talking about it. And it was honestly, they were renting that house, right?
Yeah.
So like the landlord did not, I don't think he cared, or even maybe even knew that we were having, you know, 70 people come to a show, which was crazy. That location was really special and unique too, because it's like right in walking distance from Belmont, and there's a big yard. The neighboring houses were also rented by like Belmont college kids, so like they didn't care. Like so, the location has to be like kind of specific to a neighborhood that's gonna be cool with like, I don't know, 15 cars rolling up to see a show. I think acoustic shows are a lot easier to do. Emo, acoustic, you know, that kind of thing. But you do a screamo or a hardcore show at a house, it's like it can become a liability, I suppose. But
and further to what I was talking about, when I think it was probably either sophomore or junior year of college, I was looking for places to move, me and my band at that time, and we looked and saw, I swear it had to have been that 70s house on Zillow, and it was like $3,200 a month to rent, and then now it's gone. It's demolished and turned into a parking lot for Belmont.
Belmont, they've got deep pockets. They just bought up all that land, and my wife and I walked around there a few months ago, and I was just blown away by it. I was like, this is like I'm on a tour of Greece or something. You know.
So to that level, it's like, again, like the resources are becoming limited and more limited, and I mean, but also to that level, the music scene is growing so much that I think people are seeing that there's more of a, not a market, but, you know, a desire for it. We were at a show last night that was a house venue's first new show.
Oh yeah, there's house show venues, you know, popping up still, and especially like right now, I feel like the DIY local music scene is growing at a pace where there's a need for more venues. It's getting increasingly hard to get a show at like a more straightforward DIY venue like Dark Matter or the Arcane Workshop, and you're starting to see hardcore shows happen at places like the Vinyl Lounge, which is I feel like a new development.
I like the Vinyl Lounge, man. I think you got to pack that place out for it to sound good in there.
Yeah. Sounds
very tinny to me, but having a good sound guy that knows how to deal with that environment can help that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've only seen like deathcore shows there. That was what happened to be going on. But I like that space, man. Really nice patio. There's like a full bar, upstairs, downstairs. It's a cool spot, man. But we need like 10 more of those, right?
Yeah. Yes. More venues, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So what other sections are in the zine, man, that you want to highlight or talk about?
That's the thing is like I was going to kind of talk about how this one's really heavy on band interviews or interviews with people. This next one, I think we're going to kind of branch out into, maybe there are zines out there that I've been like looking at, and they'll do like a whole page talking about just like one band. Like, oh, I love this band. Let me tell you all this stuff about why I think this band is super awesome. So I want to put in pages like that, more opinion pieces and stuff like that. We got like one in here that Will wrote.
Yeah. More of the fanzine element.
More elements. It was kind of after the fact when we made this one that it was like, oh, this is like all interviews, and like zines can be so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is still super cool. Like we do have a section in here that let me find it. It's kind of towards the back, where it's just like kind of a list of all the different vegan places and resources that you can access in Nashville. So, it's sort of like a short little blurb on the left about like why I think it's important to, support vegan stuff.
Yeah.
And then on the right, just like a list of places that, do vegan food.
Nice.
But yeah, this one's pretty heavy on the interviews, I would say, whereas like other zines kind of have more varied content that we're trying to break into.
We try and make each issue like kind of its own thing as well, which I think is fun.
Yeah, we for every issue, there's going to be like a theme. Like the first one was straight edge, and the biggest content thing in that one was like I put up a Google form for everyone in the Nashville hardcore scene to sort of look at and respond to, and it's like, why are you straight edge? Like, what exposed you to straight edge? What are some of your favorite straight edge bands? And then the second one was about Nashville screamo and the history of Nashville screamo, because that's a genre that has seen a lot of activity and revival lately. So there's like 5 or 6 new screamo bands in Nashville right now, whereas like 2 years ago none of them existed.
Yeah,
right.
So I kind of went into the past of Nashville screamo, because obviously that was an era like 20 years ago where that kind of music was becoming its own identity and its own genre. So Nashville had some of that too, like bands like The Process is Dead. That's one of them. That's like they did a 7-inch split with Page 99.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most significant thing that happened in Nashville, like in the original screamo days.
Serotonin is back.
Serotonin is back. They were kind of doing like emotive hardcore, like mathy stuff, like in 1995. Super cool stuff, and they're back doing shows again. That was issue 2. Issue 3 was kind of based upon issue 2, where I had figured out the methodology of finding out about like old bands from Nashville. So I applied that to the much larger and varied hardcore scene. So I amassed like a 4-page list of every hardcore band I could find from Nashville, like from the very beginning in 1981 to today on the internet. I definitely missed like a ton of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, that list, could serve as a starting point for someone else, looking to do more research into it.
Still super comprehensive and something to be proud of, I feel like. Yeah.
I feel like that's like the biggest achievement our zine has done, honestly, is like compile a list of like every hardcore band from Nashville.
Yeah.
That's sick, dude. I love that. So just a minute ago, we were talking about the zine, and my question is, like, do you guys write all of the content in there? Do you have other contributing writers? Can people reach out to you to contribute to the zine at this point?
Yeah, so for a long time, I was doing all of the interviews related to the zine. Will does a couple now. It's going to be more collaborative between us, but we also, are also very happy to include submissions from people, like including, we have a repeated kind of review guy. He lives in Manchester, Tennessee. His name's Noah. And early on in the zine, I was sort of just posting on Instagram, like, hey, if someone wants to contribute something to the zine, just let me know what you would want to contribute and we can make it happen. And he responded like, hey, can I do reviews? I'm like, okay, cool, let's do that. And at first, he was the one suggesting the stuff he wanted to review. So the first time around, he reviewed the latest No Cure record and the latest Mora record. I think that was issue 3, or maybe, that was issue 3. And the next time around, I sort of gave him a couple local hardcore releases from Lethal Method and Rules of Engagement. And that was an issue 4 just here. I think you saw that page. And on top of that, every once in a while, there's like a super awesome show that's going to happen in Birmingham that I just can't make. So I have a friend, their name is Dorian. They do a different zine called Action Cat. But I just sort of contact them like, hey, if you want to go to this show, like, it'd be awesome if you could write about it, and I'll throw it in the zine. So that's happened like 2 or 3 times now. The last time they did that, it was for this issue, and it was a show featuring Life Goes On, Collective Action, and Confusion's Prince. That last band, Confusion's Prince, is actually playing here in Nashville like in a week, and we're booking the show. It's with Wasted Life from Tampa, Florida. That one's going to be super awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited for it.
Where is that show going down at?
Dark Matter Collective.
Oh, yeah, Dark Matter. Of course.
Yeah.
Sick. So how long does it take you to make one of these magazines? Like a month, or do they come out every few months?
So it always sort of starts off sluggishly. Like I'll have like some content, like, gather some content, and then I'll get a little bit more serious. Like, okay, I'm going to finish getting all the content that's going to go into this zine. And then, you finish getting the stuff that's going to be put into the zine, and that's when the real work starts. Is I go into Photoshop and I make every page with photos, like text, organize it. So the content gathering phase is pretty fluid. It could go like, if I'm working hard, like, just a week, like, or, usually it'll be like 2 months, not because it's like an intense amount of work, but because I'm just sort of like passively doing it like from time to time. And then but when I get down to it and like start designing everything in Photoshop, it's like, okay, I'm knocking out like 4 pages today, and tomorrow I'm going to do 4 more. And that takes like 2 or 3 weeks, like almost a month's worth of work. And then, you take all of the exported photos, combine it into a PDF, and then send it over to the print shop. So like, if we were really churning out these as fast as possible, I'd say like every 3 months we could put one out. But, we've been busy doing a lot of shows lately. And like with this last show that we're going to do on September 30th that has not been announced yet, I think we're going to take a step back from doing a ton of shows and like focus on getting issue 5 out.
Yeah.
Before 2026 rolls around.
Yeah. We just had a lot of cool opportunities to kind of do what we want and what we want to bring to Nashville this month and the month before this one. So we just kind of put our focus towards that. And we don't want to be like a show promotion company necessarily, but
For
like
sure.
whatever we can do to kind of bring the kind of like DIY energy into the world that we can, we're going to take the opportunity.
Oh yeah, that's a good kind of segue into like the point of all this.
Yeah.
Is like the zine and our band and like a bunch of other stuff that we do is geared towards bringing a certain movement within hardcore that we found wasn't, as represented in Nashville as we wanted. Because, there's like labels like Delayed Gratification Records in Ohio or Armageddon Records in Florida, and there's a ton of cool bands like associated with those two, like Rebirth Records or From Within Records, like ton of cool bands. And they're always sort of associated with like hardcore zines and like more DIY focused content and stuff.
Yeah.
And so we felt like there was not like a Nashville equivalent to like that kind of thing. So we just took it on like ourselves to like bring cool bands like I described Wasted Life. Like I literally started this zine and this band like to bring that specific band to Nashville, because I feel like not as many people were like plugged into that kind of thing.
Yeah. Very interesting, man. What is the name of your guys' band?
Heart Attack.
Heart Attack.
It's called Heart Attack. It's one word, and it's named after the zine that inspired this zine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's sick, man. I mean, what you've made is like a really substantial piece of art, and I think that's what I've always been attracted to with punk zines and similar content, is that you're kind of reading something that isn't readily available in the mainstream, like whether it be on Facebook. So you're kind of like tapping into a vein of a little bit more original thought, I would imagine. I would hope so if I'm opening up a zine.
Yeah.
That I'm not just like, oh, I'm getting like MSNBC or like CNN or Fox News thoughts,
This is
like
fully ChatGPT. I just didn't know if we made that clear.
yeah, exactly.
This is an AI zine.
It's all it's
Zines
all
will be
generated.
eliminated by 2085.
But it's just a unique thing. We're so used to like YouTube channels and Facebook groups, and a lot of good information can be dispelled there. But what you guys are doing is you're curating things. You're going to shows. You're like you said, like, it takes me a couple months to make this, but it's because you're living life. You're going to shows. You're bumping into new people, new bands, and then you're trying to like think about what was the most like impactful thing that people need to know about. At least that's how I take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's designed to be cool.
yeah. I think everything we do in any creative regard is like super, super intentional, and like fulfills that kind of creative goal we had outlined. And I think the zines turnaround and like creative vision for each issue kind of falls with that as well.
Yeah, like I mean, when you look at a zine, you're like, oh, sick. Like I'm gonna read this. I mean, it sounds dumb what I'm saying.
But, I mean, really,
like, oh, sick, I'm gonna read this, and then you read it, and like you see the things that were intentionally put into the zine, and you just go like, oh, well, I mean, like whoever made this is dope, so like whatever they're putting in here must be dope by extension.
Yeah. It's funny because I don't know how much you can speak to this, Sean, but I started reading zines outside of like ones I'd find in like record stores or whatever, because I was making flyers for people, and I was like, I kind of want this like 90s like zine aesthetic, because I think that's like the dopest shit on the planet. And then from that, I found the Internet Archive that has like all the zines, and just started, instead of just like stealing random images from them, I would just actually read them for once. And then from then I kept reading them. And then Sean, I think you had a similar kind of thing, right? Where
I mean, like it's hard for me to access this frame of mind when I first started this zine, because at that time, like I said, I was not entirely aware of like contemporary hardcore zines.
Yeah.
Although, the association with hardcore and zines is strong enough to like make someone think like, oh, like let me make a zine.
Yeah.
But like so that was probably where I was at when I was making issue 1, but I had no knowledge of how zines are today, so I also went onto Internet Archive and found like a cool zine that I thought was the dopest zine on the archive, and that was called Heart Attack.
Yeah.
You should check it out. It's super cool. And that was the main inspiration for this, and then sort of only afterwards have I found out about what zines are about in 2025.
Yeah, like I honestly like was surprised that there wasn't Nashville zine when you reached out to me about coming on the show, and I'm aware of them, obviously. Like I've been around the hardcore scene and metal scene, and some of my friends were art students, so they would like participate in making them, or they would have a column. But a lot of the stuff that I used to see in zines was like absurdist, like just insane stuff, like I hooked up with this chick and this is what happened kind of stuff, and I'm like, whoa. Like, so you can, what's kind of cool about them is you can put whatever the fuck you want in there. It's
college dropout poetry.
It's your magazine, right?
Stuff like that.
Like, so I like the originality of it, and I think people should buy it. If you can get Iconoclast at iconoclastfanzine.bigcartel.com, and when they pay the $5 for one of these, do they get a digital version of it and then they put their shipping information in and you send it to their house? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so there is an online method of getting the zine. I've actually been meaning to like turn that off because we have 5 zines left and we're going to sell the last 5 at Pest Fest. But
like 5 copies left?
Yeah, we got 5 left.
Okay. So they've sold out, right?
It's pretty much sold
effectively,
out.
Yeah.
When you do a run, how many do you do?
About 100, although this time around I did 110 because there's a guy who does distro in Copenhagen, Denmark, that's always going to ask you for 10. So, send 10, and then I have 100 left for the United States.
Dude, you sold 100 of these things?
Yeah.
That's sick,
it's
man.
Pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, whenever someone goes on the Big Cartel, though, they just put in their shipping info, and I ship it out whenever I can, essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much sold out at this point. Issue 5 will come out, and there will be 100 copies of that.
Yeah, there'll be 100 copies available in the U.S. Of issue 5. I'd probably say like December at the latest. I don't want issue 5 to be out in 2026. I want it.
Yeah, it'll come out before. Yeah,
for sure. This is cool. Yeah, I mean, Shred Sessions has been a really fun project of mine. I mean, I was just like, I like listening to podcasts. Why don't I just make one? You know? All I listen to is like long form discussion type stuff. So I did that, and it's been so cool to just like, highlight the bands that I like, but also like now it's to the point where people are reaching out to me like to be on the show, which is also exciting. And I'm starting to interview people over the internet, like on Zoom, which is cool. Like I love doing that because it's efficient, but it is special to have people come to the house. So, I really appreciate you guys coming here to talk to me because I think it makes a difference. So I want to interview people in the Nashville scene, most importantly, but then move on to hopefully some bigger artists to try to get some more eyes on the channel. But I don't know if you guys have kind of felt this way, but it's a lot of work to do this show, the editing, and I love making clips, but I also hate making clips because I want to like put pictures and sound effects and like I want to make it cool.
Yeah.
And Crowd Kill Confessions too is a new thing that I started a couple weeks ago, and editing that is like kind of the most time consuming thing that I do. But would you guys want to scale this up at some point if there is an opportunity to do that, or do you want to keep it small, like 100 issues per zine?
Yeah, that's the thing is like we're kind of at a crossroads right now where we're kind of including more content that's about stuff like bands or whatever that are not from Nashville or not related to Nashville. And in terms of actual like output of like number of zines, I don't have like a specific goal to increase output to more than 100. Although I think the real question is like how much information and content do we want to put in there that's specific to Nashville versus like maybe a band that's not from Nashville. So that's something we have to think about. But selling more zines is always awesome. Like if we sell out real quick of issue 5, then we'll probably do 150 of issue 6, that kind of thing.
Hell yeah, dude. You should.
And at some point, the first 2 issues were 20 pages. The issue 3 and 4 are all like, the issue 3 was 40 pages. This might be 44 pages.
Damn, dude.
And so with issues 5 and 6 kind of rolling out, that'd be like total. So okay, so combine 1 and 2, that's 40.
Yeah.
3, 80, 4, 120, 5, 160.
It's like 164.
Yeah, like 200 pages worth of stuff will probably be out by issue 6. I want to like at some point combine all of the previously published zines into like a 200-page book.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I think
Yeah.
that would be
A
cool.
little coffee table book.
Yeah.
That'd be
something like
sick.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to like keep talking about myself and about shred sessions, but I want to scale the show up in terms of like I want to do like 2 or 3 interviews a week,
Yeah.
but it's just too much. Like I need to hire like an editor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the show is not really generating any money at this point. Not that it needs to, but if we can monetize it, which is why you need to subscribe to the freaking show, man. We're at 300
Subscribe,
subs.
everybody.
Subscribe right now.
I
Hit
know
the
it's-
like button.
it's freaking-
comment, repost it.
That's right, dude. Yeah,
Add all your friends in the comments.
it's lame as shit to do that, but it's like I just think like there's enough fucking people listening to Sleep Token right now. Like, can we just have like 50,
we don't need more of that.
Yeah.
can we get a few people like, you know, and I am friends with the guys in Kubla Khan. We got enough people fucking listening. We got enough like moms listening to Kubla Khan now.
Yeah.
Can we have some of you guys check out Iconoclast Fanzine and Shred Sessions?
If we could get
And-
1/100th of Kublai Khan's fan base to buy a zine, I think we'd all have $1,000.
yeah,
We would change the world
exactly,
if we
dude.
got the Kublai Khan
Yeah.
fans to read this.
Yeah. We got enough people going to freaking Jared Leto's private island for a $10,000 experience with Jared, to hang out with him and be blessed by Jared.
Yeah.
So the point of me saying all that is like support the scene, man. Support what is on the ground. Like go. I think people, including myself in the past, like we sort of self-isolate. And you like, well, no one likes me, and I don't want to go to a show because like I just stand there. But it's like, dude, just go to a show and like initiate a conversation, man. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like just start talking to somebody.
Yeah.
You see, that's sort of something that I think about a lot. Is like, there's no like, this is not like a objective metric
Yeah.
in the slightest. But like, I'm like the kind of guy. I'm weird. Like
Me too, bro.
I will think like, what's the way to judge how hardcore you are?
Yeah.
And the answer to that, I think, is like if you come to shows and you contribute, like you could.
I thought it was the sickest moves in the pit, though.
I mean,
Don't we have a
many
rating system
do.
for that?
If you come to one show a year,
Windmill
but you
kicks.
have the sickest moves, or if you're in a band that has like a lot of listens but you don't come to shows, or if you have like if you're not like boots on the ground like activity, people like talk to you in real life, like at a show. That's not as hardcore as just coming to every show. Like if you're the most hardcore person, if you're just at every hardcore show.
Yeah.
Right.
Hardcore's not about Instagram. You know what I mean? It's about going to the show.
The only numbers involved with how hardcore you are is the number of shows that you go to.
I love that. That's the only metric, man. That's sick. Yeah, I'm really excited to go to the Hardcore in Huntsville. It's basically a fest.
Yeah.
10 bands for $20. And I'm bringing a microphone, and we're gonna wild out, and anything you say will be posted in the
Tom Green
episode.
style.
Yeah, totally. I want to get weird with. I want to see what kids have to say too, because like they say the darndest things, don't they?
For real.
You know.
Yes.
So
especially in Alabama.
yeah, man. I just want to get in touch with like the heartbeat of like what does the youth need? Why are they like, maybe we could talk about this for a little bit, but like, why do you think there's a resurgence in like the hardcore scene in Nashville, and to the point where you're selling zines out, and like these hardcore bands are fucking packing out, Dark Matter and Arcane Workshop and all the venues, like the clips I've seen, like people are just going nuts, man. So why is there a resurgence right now?
I think there's like a very surface level answer and then a very deep answer.
We'll hit them both, bro.
I think the surface level answer is TikTok and COVID. I think COVID created like kind of a base level ground for like every single kind of music. to where like if people are searching for a certain kind of thing, it's just as easy to access as it would be like Katy Perry or something, because the internet is like the ultimate playing field for that. And with that, like post-COVID, there's a lot of like riled up rage and everything from just being locked inside and all that, as we all know. And with that, you know, bands like Tsunami and that whole Bay Area, like Gulch, all start popping out just as like mainstream bands. I mean, I think Acid Bath just played in LA, and they sold like 20,000 tickets or something. Like it sold out a Palladium when like
What?
Acid Bath was like the weird like YouTube only sludge band that like you would bring them in a conversation one time and be like, oh, they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember in high school, I knew about this band Duster.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you how many listeners they had back then, but it was certainly not like 4 million.
Yeah. They didn't sell out.
Turnstile too, like,
Dude,
like,
yeah,
I
sure.
have like, you know, I love normies, but normies will come up to me, dude. Have you heard the new Turnstile record?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, dude, it's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
kind of different, right? Like, whereas like I just don't think, you know, Kubla Khan too. Like my wife, who's an attorney, is like, do you know who Kubla Khan is? And I'm like, yeah, I played a couple shows with them, like, you know, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
and, and I couldn't be happier for those guys, because the fact that music like that can have a mass appeal
100%.
and people are like, fuck yeah, like the
Yeah.
world's about to end, I want to listen to Kubla Khan. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think hardcore is like specifically like very clippable.
Yeah.
Like on like a short video of like some guys like going crazy is like maybe like regular for like a hardcore person, but like some kid that only knows like Deftones.
Yeah.
Like we'll see like a Tsunami set and someone's like jumping off like a stage and like punching people.
Yeah.
Like is super cool. Like
It's almost like kind of the Jackass effect in a way. Like I think hardcore in a sense it kind of has that same appeal that like a Jackass or a CKY did back then, of
yeah,
just like
dude,
like raw, unbridled, like kind of no bullshit.
those are some magical. That was the best, dude.
Yeah.
To see you know, the Jackass show, and to see him like jump off of a jump going into like a giant like evergreen tree or something, you know,
Yeah.
like all the stuff that Ryan Dunn and Bam Margera did, like,
Yeah.
just crazy, man.
I mean, like that's in a way that's like the peak of like DIY media in general. So I think
Yeah.
in a different way, we're at a peak of DIY, you know, music right now.
Yeah.
And to the more deeper point, I think because of also post lockdown now of how online everything is. I mean, we talk about how online hardcore is now, but I think people that come to like all DIY shows in general, be it hardcore, shoegaze, indie, whatever, there's that sense of community that I feel like has been robbed from a lot of like communities in general, you know? And that kind of sense, again, like I was talking about earlier about house venues, like that kind of sense of a third space. Like you can have like a bad day at school or whatever, or like maybe your home life sucks, but like you can know there's a show tonight where like all your friends that are on the same page as you and have like a equal level mind, you can all go there and like kind of reflect on the same thing, which to me is like kind of an only DIY thing, because I mean there's not really like hangout spots anymore, you know what I mean? There's not places, especially in Nashville, to like just go to after school and like sit down and talk to your friends. And like I think what's so cool about that, especially watching like younger folks that have house venues now, is like they need that and want to establish like, I mean, just like real human connection, and like we're gonna make it happen the way we want to, no matter what, you know.
Yeah, dude, I think that's awesome to hear, Will, because like the media just continues to say like kids are addicted to their phones, and they're, you know, like they're just, all they're doing is playing video games,
Yeah.
and they're staying inside all the time, which I'm sure there's a shit ton of kids that do that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
but-
predatory too, you know, like it's
Right.
it's totally like encapsulating our whole fucking world. But like having community at this point is like the ultimate form of protest.
Yeah,
know?
that's sick,
I mean,
dude.
really, yeah.
I like how you put that, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you're saying is like there's all of these young kids who have never maybe been a part of like a friend group or something. Like maybe they were at school, like they had some friends at school, but now they're out of college or in college or something, and they're finding they're being seen, I guess.
Yeah.
At a hardcore show, right?
Yeah,
like they
100%.
really feel like they're welcomed and understood by the friends that go to these shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, hardcore is like a national level like phenomenon in which you can be a part of something.
Yeah.
Which
exactly.
is like becoming increasingly rare and rare these days, I think. But like hardcore, like that. The hardcore scene itself, I think, is becoming increasingly aware of how much of an anomaly it's becoming, in that it's a real community based around, doing real stuff with other people that want to do real things.
Yeah.
As opposed to the lifestyle that's kind of being sold to us that's not based around community. It's just based around like consuming or something like that.
Get rich quick.
And
type shit.
So it's... It's hardcore is a real thing that you can be a part of, which is unfortunately becoming more and more of an anomaly.
Yeah. I mean, like people beg for like remote jobs, or like I have friends from high school that like drop ship now.
Yeah, dude.
Which is just like, I don't know, man. You're selling your humanity to like make like what, like $50,000 a year off of your like Amazon like Pokemon toys you sell. Like,
dude, I've heard it's like increasingly more difficult to make money like being an Amazon seller.
Thank God.
Because you have to like pay to be in the top the top few results, and a lot of it is like it's like the same piece of junk made in China but with a different label or name on it. And like those are the top results for when you're looking for like, I don't know, just some random thing for your house or whatever it is, some knick-knack bullshit that you probably don't need anyway. But yeah, man, I was a Lyft driver like around the time when Lyft launched in Nashville, which was crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So I drove a lot of strange and interesting people around, and back then this would have been 2014-15 when Lyft like was first rolling out. I drove a few drop shipper guys around, and they would like they'd stay up all night, man. Like they'd be requesting a ride at like 1 a.m, and they'd be like with their laptop.
Oh my God!
In the car, like working on shit.
Yeah.
And then I would drop them off at like some other location, and there'd be like other people, like they would work in like a group, and they'd just work all night on this drop shipping stuff because they're just trying to hustle and grind. But I think because I've looked into like, okay, how do I make money like working from home, or how do I do this? But like I think I get to a point with a lot of that stuff where it's like you have to believe in the product that you're selling, right? Yeah. And if you don't, like to me, it's like just a massive waste of time and life energy. And so I think what I'm trying to do is just monetize my skill set, right? Which is playing guitar, teaching guitar. I can make videos. Hopefully they're entertaining, right? Yeah. And you guys are doing that with your zine. You know, you're promoting bands that you believe in, and you actually created a product, right? That is, I think it is scalable, man.
Yeah.
You could even have a YouTube channel, you know, that like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, back in the day, zines were more national because, well, there were some zines that were national because, you know, the internet was in its infancy, and the ways in which you found out about stuff was primarily still print in like the 90s. That was like, I feel like the 90s, like especially the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe the early 90s was when there were national zines like Maximum Rock and Roll. And I think the zine that we named our band after, Heart Attack, I believe at some point it had a national presence that people knew about from all over the United States. So it'd be really cool to see a zine. I mean, like, I guess with the way things are with the internet nowadays, like every zine is national in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like every zine can go in on Instagram and sell their zine to some guy in like Spokane or like Las Vegas. Most of the people who buy this zine are still in the Nashville area. However, there's a couple repeat customers from like Las Vegas, or there's a lot of people in Alabama that buy the zine. So yeah, I mean, scaling it up, pretty cool.
It's always cool. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like an informational kind of thing more than like a product. So I mean, like everything we say in here, we want people to read and like hopefully like, not that like our word is gospel or something, but like we're saying shit that we think should be said, and more eyes that can see that and maybe just like inspire them to like make a band or just, you know, just do whatever, you know, like open a DIY space, like, I don't know, start a fucking coffee shop that like creates equal pay, or just like a good hangout spot, you know, just do something that like is community enriching.
Zines have been very influential on people's lives. One of the things I like about zines is that you will read like maybe just a sentence out of like the avalanche of like random words about hardcore in the zine. There's like a single sentence that will change your perspective on what hardcore is or should be completely. And that's, you know, something that's happened to me multiple times reading zines, especially the HEARTATTACK zine. You know, the Kent McClard, I think is his name. He over the years had several you know, unique ideas about hardcore and straight edge and tons of different stuff that you know, inadvertently influenced me, some guy in 2025. And in a cool way, you know, just reading a zine is a good way to kind of like interact with different people in hardcore and how they think.
So one of the other things that you guys do is you book shows in Nashville. I know you said you worked at Dark Matter too for a while. So tell me about how that's going. Like, what shows have you booked that were successful, and do you have anything coming up like for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the next show we have coming up, at least the ones that are announced, we have the Wasted Life show we're talking about. The full lineup is Wasted Life, Confusion Sprints, who are like one of my favorite bands in Alabama. I'm really excited to have them play. All good friends too.
There's a lot of there's a few bands in Alabama that I think don't get as much representation, and a couple of them are Confusion Sprints and Life Goes On. Those are two bands that are super awesome. There's a lot of bands, a lot of Alabama hardcore bands that get a lot of crossover with the Nashville hardcore scene. That, you know, I love that band. Like, they're from Alabama. Like, everyone knows this band from Alabama. But I feel like a couple of bands that people should know more in Nashville are those two bands for sure. And we're bringing up Confusion Sprints with Wasted Life on September 1st. That's like in about like a week or so, right? And then we got Human Shield, Wills and Human Shield. They're like two members live
Human
in
Shield. Sick name.
They're a power violence band. Two members live in Memphis. Will lives here in Nashville. And after that, we got HEARTATTACK playing, of course, because we like made the band to play with Wasted Life.
To an extent,
I mean, like that, like. It's not like that, like narrow, like, oh, I want to make a band. I'm not obsessed with this band or anything. It's more like Wasted Life and bands that have the same energy as Wasted Life and the same like kind of like mindset and ethos as Wasted Life. It was sort of just like Wasted Life is a really good example of that because they're so awesome.
Exactly.
But and then Heaven Sent is going to be the opener. And they're a new local metalcore band that's like pretty cool. They're really inspired by like 2004 type metalcore.
Like
I would
August
say.
Burns Red.
August Burns Red, As I Lay Dying, that kind of metal.
Really impressive musicianship. Henry from Chambers in that band, who's like a good friend of mine, like goes to shows all the time, is like really invested in the community, and like this is a band that is like seriously his love child, and you can hear his playing all over it, which is, I feel like, hard to see in a hardcore band anymore, like someone's playing style, you know what I mean? So it's really exciting to have a band like that be at Nashville, you know?
Yeah, both Henry and Gabe from Chamber are very good at guitar.
Oh, those guys are motherfuckers, man. They're so good. I was actually listening to the Dog Pile record today, and the drumming on that record is just retardedly good.
Their drummer is so good.
Yeah.
Dylan is his name, and I was wanting Dylan to play in my death metal band, but it was just blast beats and hilarious kick drum stuff that you wouldn't normally hear in that style.
Yeah.
But he just brings it, man.
His
and
blasts are super consistent. It's really awesome.
he's so good, man.
Yeah.
He hits so damn hard. But yeah, I had a great time listening to that today. I was walking my dogs on the Clarksville Greenway and just like cracking up at some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And like the call outs that their vocalist does are like the best. Like I'm just like, that's sick. So yeah, any other things you guys want to mention about shows coming up or bands or?
Yeah, so we like, I feel like the Wasted Life show is like the final show of a run of shows that we sort of just did.
Yeah.
Of like a similar energy where it's like a little bit more underground DIY kind of bands, not necessarily sounding like Wasted Life or anything.
Yeah.
But we're kind of trying to occupy that kind of niche in the Nashville hardcore ecosystem.
Yeah.
And as of future shows, we do have one that's not announced. So can't talk much about it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Similar ilk. I think like
It's gonna be very straight edge.
very straight edge show. Wink, wink.
Do not bring beer to that show.
Do not bring fucking beers to the show.
We will kick your ass.
Yeah. But I think the goal with a lot of the shows is like, I feel like a new normal has been established in hardcore and like, I guess aggressive music in general that we feel like has been like not oversaturated, but I think like overridden in a way, like, I mean, when there's like bands sponsored by Monster Energy that are happening again, it's like, it's cool to see that this can get to that level, but I feel like it's been overly pipelined down and like streamlined to that one brand of hardcore to the point where like some of the youth that we know, like their idea of hardcore is like only bands that play like these giant Las Vegas festivals, and like no disrespect to them, but like there's more flavors that can be explored and shown. And we've been going to shows for a long time, and we kind of did this, and even when I was booking before doing this, I always wanted to bring bands that can go kind of against that grain still, and keep. Avant isn't a word that's used in hardcore a lot, but I think avant is a good way to say it, in a way of like still being as like brutally expressive as possible while still maintaining your own brand. And
yeah, what you're talking about kind of reminds me of like Candiria. Yeah. Like bands like that.
Exactly.
that are so eclectic and just out there, and like it's okay to do that. It's okay to, or Torch Runner, or like just different bands that
Torch Runner is a
that
great example.
Hardcore like sort of ethos, but they're converged too, man. Like listen to that music.
100%.
Like listen to the guitar playing and the drumming. It's just off the wall, bro.
There's a lot of like diversity within hardcore of like sounds and mindsets and stuff, and we're trying to bring more of that diversity that's like really active and prevalent in other places, but not so much here.
Yeah. I mean, if I could offer up some criticisms of hardcore, I know you guys like this is your life, and I'm not trying to diss your life.
Let's hear it.
But as a guitar player, and maybe I'm too much of a guitar nerd, but one of the things that just kind of turns me off is just there's not a lot of musical diversity. There's not a lot of musical devices that are being used in the styles of hardcore. It's a lot of like what you mentioned. It's like kind of the same thing. So it's like, well, these bands are just copying each other, and like I want to hear something new and unique. Yeah. So then I look into like more of like death metal or black metal, where like there are more musicians kind of putting classical music elements or whatever it might be
exploration
into that. So that's one thing why as a guitar player and as someone who is like a pure guitar shred nerd, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. Show's called Shred Sessions for a reason.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I'm just like, man, this sometimes it gets a little boring to me, like musically, you know, and I'm not listening to the records as much. I enjoy the live energy, like,
For sure.
you know what I mean? Like hardcore definitely has that nailed. But yeah, how would you respond to that criticism?
Well, I would say, like, I feel like the biggest thing that might lead you to like think something like that about hardcore is that the visibility of hardcore bands that maybe aren't doing the same exact thing as like a ton of bands is pretty low. And we're, you know, that's why we're doing stuff, is we're trying to bring the visibility of that kind of stuff in Nashville like higher, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, you know, like I was saying earlier, Delayed Gratification Records or Armageddon Records aren't well-known names in Nashville. And all the bands on those record labels are doing something different, you know, kind of refreshing from what you might be used to at going to a hardcore show in Nashville. And I just want to like shout you know, what they're doing out, and bring that kind of stuff over here.
Yeah. I think with our writing and our shows and everything, the goal is to bring like as many true creatives in hardcore in as much as possible. Because of course I'm not, you know, here to claim false core on anybody or anything, but you know, there's like
stolen valor.
Yeah, but like when we see a band that really shines in like their individuality and like what they're trying to do, I think, because I mean, at the end of the day, it may be like unga bunga guitar music, but we're still making art. You know what I mean? And I think when we see a really creative artist making art, we want to like put that forward as much as possible.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, it's cool. And it could be just like my limited scope, you know, like, and that's kind of like, that's kind of like part of like, the dead internet theory. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Like everyone has their own like bubble that they operate in online, and you're just not going to hear about or see much of a variety of different stuff based on the, you know, I mean, they have this shit tuned. They know you better than you. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. It's scary.
With the way like algorithms and the internet and psychology work, it's really easy to like chill in like a bubble.
Yeah.
And like only hear about like the same kind of stuff over and over again. And the visibility of stuff that you might like, but just don't know how to find is low. And you don't like, it's, the potential is so much more than what's there.
Yeah.
Which is why you should read Iconoclast Fanzine.
100%.
This is a big commercial.
So you can learn.
No, I get educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, we see this kind of stuff like during the elections, you know, it's just like there will be like a news story posted on all the news outlets, and then you see everyone on Facebook react to the same story. And it's like on both sides, whether you're conservative or liberal, like I just see the same, like for me, I see the same like left leaning reactions to like the whatever the thing that people are pissed off about or upset, or like the Jack White thing was the thing that happened the other day. Jack White made a response to like to Trump or whatever,
calling him like a washed up loser. Yeah.
yeah. Like, and probably rightfully so. I think the real conservative base that supported Donald Trump in 2016, there at least young people like us that supported Donald Trump. I'm not saying you guys did.
Yeah, sure.
But they are done with Trump.
Yeah.
They're done with MAGA. Like that young, like I guess you'd call it alt-right or just like right-leaning group of people. Like they're done with Trump. Like they think he's a phony, sellout, just billionaire who's just looking out for his best interest. He's not doing what he said he would do.
Yeah.
Take that for what it is. But so I find that to be very interesting. But I guess like the takeaway or the point I'm trying to make is like try to get outside of your bubble. The best way to do that is to like actually physically get your feet on the ground and go to a show.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we sell the most of the zines at shows, I feel like, which is that not true?
It really depends on what show. I mean, sometimes like a show of a certain caliber, a certain type of hardcore, people will come and I'll sell like one zine.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Yeah.
I would say I would say that the most consistent sales are online.
Yeah.
We sell quite a lot online. Going to the post office more often than you would think. I never tell you about it.
Yeah.
That's exciting, dude. I love going to the post office to just like drop CDs or tapes off. It's so sick.
And yeah, it really depends on what show. I honestly, in contrary to what you said, I feel like the amount of people like physically at shows buying the zine could be larger.
Could be larger. That's true. I also am biased because I bring some old issues on tour with me when I go.
Yeah, I think something about like a band from out of town bringing like a zine you've never like heard of before.
Yeah,
might be like a thing.
It's also I was just gonna say it's just more affordable too. It's like that people may not want to buy a $30 tour shirt or a $25 shirt. They can pull a $5 out to grab a zine and at least like get some good info.
Yeah, the zines are always $5. I mean, these days $5 is basically free. So that's why I think
worthless.
more people at shows should buy them. But
yeah. Inflation. $5 used to get you into a show, man.
Yeah. I remember that. Like I'm not that old, but I remember when shows were $5. Like that was like I feel like shows were $5 maybe even a little bit after COVID. But
relative norm,
before COVID, like certainly like $5.
Yeah, massive paradigm shift with COVID and the financial markets and everything got more expensive, right? Distribution, groceries, everything went up like crazy, and hopefully it comes back down. I mean, I don't see that happening though. I see things being, this is like as cheap as things will be. For maybe the next decade. Is what we're probably experiencing now. I literally don't see. I know they brought the price of eggs down or whatever, but it's just like,
for like a month probably.
You want to go you want to go buy a new truck, it's like $70,000, for like a full-size pickup truck, and a house is like $400,000, at least in Tennessee. I mean, maybe you could find something cheaper in Ohio or something, or the Midwest, but $400K is kind of like the going rate outside of the epicenter of Nashville.
Dude,
if you want like an affordable house, you're gonna have to move to like Fort Wayne.
Yeah, dude. Hey, you could work at Sweetwater, right? Isn't that in Fort Wayne?
True. Yeah, it's in Fort Wayne.
Which I just think of the entire state of Indiana as just Sweetwater. So
people forget Indiana like exists. Like people will be like, "Oh, you live in Springfield, Ohio, or you live in Springfield, Illinois, or you live in St. Louis, Missouri." Ohio's right there. It's like Indiana's right like in between. Like that's a thing.
Right next to Kentucky too, man. It's all.
Indianapolis is dope. It's really cool. I pass through there a lot. There's a lot of. I feel like a lot of people talk about certain cities as like, I want to go here because it's walkable and affordable. Every time I have gone, Indianapolis, it's the only time I've been like, maybe I should move here instead. All the restaurants are crazy, very chill nightlife. Very college town vibes. And you would never know.
I've had a lot of friends leave Nashville and go to Chattanooga because it's just a little bit cheaper. It's right down the road. That you can come back to Nashville if you want to.
Yeah, Chattanooga is awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. A lot of good homies that watch the show that live there. So shout out to those guys. What do you guys think the next big hardcore band in Nashville is going to be? Who's really kicking ass and taking names?
Well, the first thing I thought about when you asked that question would be this new band called Gorge.
That's Luke Granrid.
They just from looking at it like on Instagram or their shows, like you can tell that they're setting up for something big.
Hell yeah.
And what do you think?
I think their writing is really unique as well. I mean, like, I come from like a power violence grind background before I got into hardcore. And their kind of take on like taking things like Dent the Dirt, Magruder grind, and adding like the kind of more swag, like Jesus Peace, and like kind of element to it is like really cool and unique. And there's a lot of hooks in it too, which you can't really find in power violence a lot, other than like saying like Nails or something like that that's more hardcore leaning, but I think all the influences are on their sleeve in a really cool way, and also just influences that aren't like in the South very much right now. Coming from a guy who's like also in a power violence band, you know?
Yeah.
Like the reason I started Human Shield with Drew is because we were like, there isn't a band that sounds like the things we love in like 300 miles. So if we're gonna do it, we have to do it. So for me even, I'm really excited that this band exists and that they're taking it so seriously.
Yeah, speaking of, now that you were talking, it gave me some time to think. I also want to say that the local band Officer Down is on an upward trajectory. They've been I have known Oscar since he started that band.
Yeah.
And Officer Down has been authentically grinding and building itself up for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, I think they're like honestly the perfect model of like how a hardcore band should operate in the current year.
Yeah, it's really genuine. It's like it really comes off as like these guys, didn't have any kind of special backing from like some kind of like connected person or like group.
Yeah,
and they're really just like working hard and setting themselves up. Like I haven't heard anything from them about recording a new record, but I think if they lock in and put a new record out in the next year, some big things could happen with that.
I think so.
Because they've already been on like a full US tour. They're going on tour with Chamber.
Yeah.
Like
Hell
very
yeah,
soon.
dude.
Like I think like right now. I'm not even sure like when it starts, but
Yeah.
like maybe in like a couple of weeks that tour is kicking off. But I mean, I can tell that they're really grinding and they're really putting their lives into that band. So
yeah, I mean they've been like going to shows and like participating in creative. I mean, making different bands. I mean, Oscar is in like has made like what 7 bands probably at this point.
yeah, he's been in a lot of bands.
Yeah, and I think all of them are just fans of like music in general, which honestly I feel like is hard to find in a lot of hardcore right now, is like creating that kind of like depth with yourself of like an array of like I can kind of pull from anything and create like the best song I can with just a larger palette,
Yeah.
and not necessarily, you don't have to know every single thing about every piece of music, but I feel like when a band just has more color palettes to pull from, they can create like something really unique. I mean, they put out that EP like a year and a half ago, probably.
Yeah, it's been
All
a
Due
while.
Respect was a year and a half ago, and every song has like a different kind of influence on it. There's different hooks on it. It has a whole different feel, but is still like identifiably Oscar's writing, which again, like I talked about earlier about guitar playing,
You can tell when Oscar writes something.
you can tell Oscar writes a song, which is
That's the
so
whole point
cool.
of guitar playing, in my opinion, is having your own sound.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, nothing about Officer Down is like contrived or trying to copy something else.
Yeah.
At least what I can tell or pick up from. It's really like they're having fun and they're writing songs and they're doing something cool with it.
Yeah.
that's sick. Any other bands or how about records that you guys are listening to that you want to shout out, or like it could be anything. It could be the new Sleep Token. I don't know. Like, what are you guys listening to?
To your end of guitar playing, that reminded me, you should listen to New World Man.
Okay.
New World Man, it's named after a Rush song, which is also just, again, so cool they're pulling from that in hardcore, but it's like if Eddie Van Halen like had like 10 times the testosterone and was just playing at like
Wasn't such a little bitch.
well, hey,
If he was cool and hardcore.
Yeah.
Respect. Yeah.
Respect to Eddie. Yeah, keep going, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
it's like super technical and like insane, like almost gorgeous guitar playing that meets this like super super unique end of like a style that like I think is unprecedented before then and probably won't be after. I mean, tonally, do you know the band Stormtroopers of Death?
No.
Totally similar. It's like absurdly masculine, like to an almost ironic point, but not in like a caveman way, but in like a fun, like
In like a kind of like a satirical, like
yeah,
kind of way.
like a Last Action Hero kind of way,
Sick,
Yeah.
dude.
But that band is awesome.
That sounds awesome, dude. I'll definitely check those out.
What I would say is like just like on Tuesday, the hardcore album of the year dropped. Yeah, I'm being 100% serious. It's by a band called Firestarter.
Yeah.
It's called Still Hanging On, I'm pretty sure, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And it's like literally everything that I love about hardcore into like 15 minutes or 16 minutes of music.
Less, yeah.
It's got some like really funny, like, and cool features on there that like are really like, one's like a floor punch feature, which is like, that's like a total like power move.
Yeah.
To have a floor punch feature on
It's
your
like
song.
the guy.
Like,
Yeah.
that's like the guy that everyone wants to be, is like, oh yeah, let's get floor punch on here.
Yeah.
And then they have like a twitching tongues like feature on one of those songs. Super cool.
Yeah. Super
And,
awesome. Yeah.
But like literally like the fifth song, like the one before the twitching tongues featured song, is like so good. Like,
Yeah.
That's like my favorite one hardcore song from this year.
Yeah.
Is off of the new Firestarter record, and that kind of music that they're making is like the exact type of like kind of underrepresented style of hardcore that we're really trying to bring to Nashville.
Yeah.
I really hope I can, we can both, get them to play a show here at some point. I think it'd be a pretty big mistake if they didn't tour the US after that record. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of death metal. Defeated Sanity is one of my favorites. They put out a new record in November of last year.
Band rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, they're insane. The new Cryptopsy is really good.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just more Cryptopsy.
Yeah.
But what I like about that record is it sound like the drums sound like a real drum set, like you can hear like the kicks sound like just most modern death metal records like that. It's all like samples and stuff,
right.
And they very well might be samples, but it sounds like a real drum set, and I appreciate that. I'm trying to think of other things that I've listened to. I mean, I checked out the Lethal Methods EP. The new Dogpile is fantastic. That record sounds really great. Love when he goes into double bass mode, like you get that low end frequency, like that's super fun. Makes me want to mosh.
Yeah.
I checked out the Brightside has an EP that's out, and I'm gonna get to see them live. And Claire was on the show a week ago. So, but yeah, anybody else you guys want to shout out, or like what does the rest of the year look like for you guys? What do you have planned?
Our band HEARTATTACK is going to put out our demo very soon.
We're recording our demo like next weekend.
Yeah.
That's going to be sick.
Yeah. My band Human Shield will be dropping before the end of the year, which is very exciting. And yeah, just keep doing shows, keep doing this zine as much as possible. Again, like you said, scaling up in a cool way. And like, I mean, we're already getting like checklist artists we wanted to bring to town.
Yeah.
So,
like artists we like that, like this is our goal to bring this artist to this city, and we're like doing it right now.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I think, like it's kind of like a abstract or like more basic answer, but as like if we keep up what we've been doing, like just right now, like in the last like month or so, like things are gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Just keep going, just keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's all about consistency, man. Like
exactly. Like
I want to make more videos. It is a lot of work, and it does cut into some of my like creative guitar time.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to like find the balance with it all, and just like keep putting these fucking videos out, man. Like I'm having a blast, and more people are getting hip to the show.
That's what it's all about.
So
just keep making stuff.
Yeah, I like that you said that, man. Just do not stop, man, because who knows what kind of doors it's gonna open. And you might be making media like that full time at some point. Like who knows, man? I don't know if that's a goal, but
that's what I've learned from being in like a hardcore community where there's people that like older than me by like a large margin or like a slight margin. Like everyone's at a different stage of life in hardcore. Like we got like people who are 16 showing up to shows, and there's like guys like my friend Justin, he was in a band called Hollywood from like in like 2008.
Yeah, dude.
He's coming to shows again. He's doing photos, and our vocalist Zach, he's like 6 or 7 years older than us. He like owns his own business.
Yeah.
Super cool. What I've learned about like being in a community with like varying stages of life is like just keep going and you might end up in like a really cool spot. Like, but the number one thing you have to do is keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The hardest thing about doing creative stuff like this is there's that hunger for like validation, right? Like when you go work a job, your validation's like your paycheck. You know, it's like, okay, this is a very real thing. But when you're doing this and like to be honest, like I feel like my views are low as shit and it pisses me off. And like getting people to actually subscribe seems like an impossible, like, why are you not subscribed? Like, like, you know what I mean? Like people that have been on the show don't even comment on, you know, like I could go on and on, but the key is just to like not look for that kind of validation, but just stay true to like what you believe in and what you're doing and do not stop.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I think the coolest thing that's happened as a result of the zine, or at least that I've seen as a channel through it, is that there's this kid who came to a Human Shield show. I think it was his first like grind or power violence show ever. And then he came up and was like, that was so insane. Can you name like 4 grindcore records I should listen to like when I get home? Because I will. And then I listed them out. And then he put an ad in our zine saying, hey, I'm starting a band, need a drummer for fans of Sex Prisoner. Which is one of the bands I totally listen to.
You know, I was gonna build off what you said, and I was gonna mention how the same kid you're talking about, he's like 15 or maybe 16, and in issue 3, you know, or maybe issue 4, in issue 3, I did like a interview / article about the Nashville hardcore band Love Is Red. They were active from like 2000 to 2004. They, in my opinion, they made the greatest of all time Nashville hardcore album. Yeah. And you know, I said that in there, and like this kid got a hold of that copy, and I actually have a Love Is Red shirt. And at Heart Attack's first show, I was wearing the Love Is Red shirt.
That's sick, dude.
And he showed up. This kid showed up to the show. He saw my shirt and was like, "Oh, Love Is Red, you put me onto that band from your zine." Yeah. And that's probably the most rewarding thing that's happened to me from making this zine, is like I genuinely put on like a teenager to something really cool.
Yeah. Or just like seeing kids with shirts from bands we brought to town, or like telling us like, hey, like we want you to bring this band that we're both fans of, and it's like, oh, we're so excited that like you're not only further investing into like maybe kind of like a smaller band that's still regional but that we all like, but like just furthering into this ecosystem more that we're all part of, and like can bring you so much community and you know, just mental enrichment, honestly, you know.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, you guys are doing cool stuff. I love the zine. I'm stoked that you brought a copy for me to have. I'll gladly pay you for it, but we'll figure that out. Where can people follow you guys on the socials?
Yeah, so on Instagram we have at Iconoclast Zine on Instagram. It's super simple. There's no Facebook and there's no TikTok.
Yeah. No TikTok.
I mean, and like honestly, like just come to a show and you'll see the zine there for sale.
Sick. Love it. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out, man. This was super awesome. And if you made it this far watching the show, thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Drop a comment. No one freaking leaves any comments.
Please comment.
This shit. So if we talk about something that you found interesting, or if you want to add or elaborate on any topic, you are welcome to do that. The floor is yours. This is your show. It's not just mine. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peace.
Take care.